Welcome to Inner Power Audio. If this book found you today, do not skip it. Not because one audiobook can fix your entire life. Not because a single moment of motivation can erase every problem you have been carrying. But because something in you may already be tired of living without direction. You still wake up. You still go to work. You still answer messages, pay bills, handle responsibilities, and move through the day like everything is normal. But inside, you know something is off. You are doing things, but you do not feel connected to where they are taking you. You are busy, but not grounded. You are tired, but not from building a future you respect. You are tired because too much of your energy has been spent on things that do not truly strengthen you. And when that continues long enough, it starts to feel normal. But it is not normal, it is familiar. There is a difference. Maybe you have called yourself lazy. Maybe you have looked at your unfinished goals, your inconsistent routines, your wasted evenings, and your broken promises, and thought, this is just who I am. But before you believe that, listen carefully. You are not here because you do not care. You are here because some part of you still does. A person who truly does not care would not feel frustrated by wasted potential. They would not feel disappointed when another week disappears. They would not feel uncomfortable knowing they are capable of more, yet still living below their own standard. That discomfort is not weakness. It is a signal. It is the part of you asking for clarity, for discipline, for a life that no longer feels like maintenance, distraction, and quiet regret. Before we go deeper, subscribe to Inner Power Audio if you are ready to build clarity, discipline, emotional control, and real inner strength. Like this video if you are done living on autopilot, and share it with someone who needs to hear this at the right moment. Because this audiobook is not here to entertain you. It is here to interrupt the pattern. In the chapters ahead, we will uncover why you are not lazy but unclear. Why life feels heavy when your effort has no target. Why motivation dies when your standards are too easy to break. Why waiting to feel ready keeps you trapped. And why your attention may be the first thing you need to take back. Then we will build from there. Discipline will become structure. Discomfort will become training. A clear morning will become your first proof. And self-respect will become something you rebuild through action, not imagination. Stay with this journey, because by the end, you will not be asked to change everything at once. You will be asked to choose one target, one standard, and one promise you can keep for the next 72 hours. That is how you stop drifting, not through a perfect plan, not through a perfect mood, not through waiting until life becomes easier. You stop drifting when you make one clear decision and protect it long enough to prove that you are no longer the same person who kept giving up before. So do not listen to this like background noise. Let it challenge you. Let it make you honest. Let it show you where you have been avoiding the truth, lowering your standard, and giving your best attention to things that do not deserve your future. You do not need to change your entire life tonight. You need one clear target, one standard you refuse to keep breaking, one promise you are willing to keep even when nobody sees it. Because if this book found you, maybe it found the part of you that is finally tired of living without direction. And if you are tired of drifting, this is where you begin. Not tomorrow, not when motivation returns, not when life becomes easier now. Chapter 01. You are not lazy, you are unclear, you are not lazy. That may be the first truth you need to hear before anything can change. Because when you keep missing your own goals, it becomes easy to attack your character. You look at the habits you did not keep, the plans you did not finish, the mornings you did not control, and the promises you made but failed to honor. Then one word starts following you: lazy. But lazy is often the wrong name for a deeper problem. A truly lazy person does not feel pain over wasted potential. A truly lazy person does not feel disappointed after another week disappears. A truly lazy person does not sit in silence wondering why they cannot seem to become the person they know they could be. That frustration means something. It means the better version of you has not gone silent. It means there is still a part of you that wants structure, direction, and proof that your life can be different. So, before you insult yourself again, pause. Maybe the issue is not that you have no desire. Maybe the issue is that your desire has never been turned into a clear instruction. Most people do not fail because they want nothing. They fail because what they want is too vague to guide them. They say, I want to change. But change what? They say, I need to get my life together. But where exactly? They say, I want to be more disciplined. But what does discipline look like today when the bed is warm, the phone is close, and your mind wants one more excuse? A vague wish cannot lead a real life. It creates emotion for a moment, then disappears when discomfort arrives. Clarity is different. Clarity is an instruction your behavior can follow. When the instruction is unclear, your mind starts negotiating. It asks if today really matters. It asks if you can begin tomorrow. It asks if one more delay will hurt anything. And because there is no clear standard in front of you, the easiest choice wins, not the best choice. The easiest one. This is how people stay stuck while still feeling busy. They do many things, but those things are not organized around one clear target. Activity gives the illusion of progress. Clarity creates the evidence of progress. There is a difference. You can spend the whole day handling small tasks and still avoid the one action that would actually move your life forward. You can be tired by evening and still know deep down that you did not do the thing that mattered. That is not laziness. That is misdirected energy. Your mind needs something specific enough to obey. Not, I will be better. Say, for the next 7 days, I will wake up at the same time. Not, I will stop wasting time. Say, for the next 7 days, I will finish one important task before entertainment. Not, I will become more focused. Say, for the next 7 days, I will work for 30 minutes with my phone out of reach. Not, I will fix my life. Say, for the next 7 days, I will write down my top 3 priorities before the day begins. This is where real change starts, not with a huge emotional promise, with a clear command. One action, one time frame, one stand you can measure. And yes, that may feel smaller than what your ego wants. Your ego wants a dramatic transformation. It wants the perfect routine, the perfect plan, the perfect version of you who never struggles again. But your life is not rebuilt by drama. It is rebuilt by proof, small proof, repeated proof, quiet proof that you can tell yourself something and actually do it. That is why you must start smaller than your ambition, but more clearly than your excuses. Choose one area, just one, your health. Your work, your money, your attention, your environment, your sleep, your skill, your discipline. Do not try to repair every part of your life at once. That is how people create a plan so large that failure becomes almost guaranteed. Start where the pressure is loudest. Ask yourself, where do I keep feeling disappointed in myself? That is the place to begin. If your focus keeps slipping, choose one protected block of time. If your health keeps bothering you, choose one physical standard for 7 days. If your money keeps stressing you, choose one spending rule. If your space keeps pulling you down, clean one area and keep it clean. The goal is not to impress anyone. The goal is to create evidence. Every clear action tells your mind, I am not just talking anymore. Every kept promise becomes a small argument against the old belief that you always quit. That is how change begins to feel real. Remember this, because the proof you build now will matter later when self-respect becomes the real subject. But for now, begin with clarity. Do not ask, how do I change my whole life? Ask, what is one clear promise I can keep for the next 7 days? Write it down, make it simple, make it measurable, make it impossible to hide from. Then act before your mind starts building a case for delay. Because the longer you wait, the more your old pattern starts speaking. It will tell you now is not the right time. It will tell you that you need a better plan. It will tell you that 7 days is too small to matter. Do not believe it. 7 clear days can break the spell of a vague life. 7 clear days can show you that the problem was not your potential. It was your direction. So stop calling yourself lazy when you have not given your energy a clear place to go. Stop attacking your character when your behavior has been following unclear instructions. Stop waiting to feel different before you decide differently. You are not lazy, you are unclear. And once you become clear, even one small action can begin to change the way you see yourself. Name the action. Protect the time. Finish the day with proof. Because a life does not become clear by accident. It becomes clear when you decide what deserves your energy and what no longer gets to waste it. And in the next chapter, we will look at why life starts to feel so heavy when your effort has no clear place to land. Chapter 02. Your life feels heavy because you have no target. Some tiredness comes from effort. Some tiredness comes from confusion. There is a difference. When your effort has meaning, you may feel exhausted, but there is still pride underneath it. You know why the work mattered. You know what it was building. You can rest with a clean mind because the day moved you closer to something. But there is another kind of tiredness. It follows you even after sleep. It sits with you on a Sunday night. It shows up when you are parked outside work, coffee in your hand, staring through the windshield, already drained before the day begins. That kind of tiredness is not just about work. It is about weight. The weight of repeating days that do not feel connected to a future you respect. You may have a schedule. You may have responsibilities. You may have bills, meetings, groceries, errands, messages, and people depending on you. From the outside, your life may look stable, but stability is not the same as purpose. A full calendar can still hide an empty direction. You can complete tasks all week and still feel like nothing important moved. You can survive Monday through Friday, make it to the weekend, and still feel the same quiet question return. Where is this going? That question matters. Because when you do not have a target, every day becomes a reaction. You react to alarms, you react to emails, you react to other people's needs. You react to problems, deadlines, bills, and pressure. You are not leading your life. You are managing whatever appears next. And a life spent only reacting will always feel heavier than it should. Without a target, every demand starts to look equally important. A message feels urgent. A small request feels urgent. A minor problem feels urgent. Someone else's expectation feels urgent. By the end of the day, your attention has been spent in pieces, and none of those pieces built anything meaningful. This is not a time problem. It is a priority problem. When nothing has been chosen clearly, everything competes for you. That is why one clear target matters. A target does not make life easy. It makes life organized. It gives your effort a reason. It helps you decide what deserves your best energy and what only deserves a polite no. Without a target, work can feel like punishment. With a target, work becomes investment. Without a target, saying no feels selfish. With a target, saying no becomes protection. Without a target, waking up early feels like suffering. With a target, it becomes part of a larger promise. The action may look the same from the outside, but it feels different on the inside because now it belongs to something. This is the shift you need, not a dramatic life plan, not a perfect vision board, not a 5-year strategy that sounds impressive but changes nothing today. You need one honest target close enough to act on. Ask yourself this: what would make the next 30 days feel meaningful? Not perfect, not impressive, meaningful. Maybe it is taking control of your health. Maybe it is finishing a project. Maybe it is saving money. Maybe it is rebuilding your mornings. Maybe it is learning a skill for 30 minutes a day. Maybe it is cleaning your space and keeping it clean because your environment has been reflecting your disorder for too long. Choose one. One target gives your mind a filter. If the target is health, Your choices around food, sleep, and movement become clearer. If the target is money, every purchase becomes a decision instead of an impulse. If the target is skill, your free time stops being empty space and becomes training ground. If the target is peace, certain conversations, habits, and distractions no longer deserve access to you. This is how direction reduces weight. It removes unnecessary negotiation. You stop asking, "What should I do with this hour?" because the target already answered. You stop treating every interruption like a command. You stop giving your best focus to things that will not matter next week. That is not selfish. That is leadership over your own life. For the next 30 days, make your target measurable. Do not say, "I want to get healthy." Say, "I will walk 20 minutes a day." Do not say, "I want to fix my money." Say, "I will track every dollar I spend." Do not say, "I want to be productive." Say, "I will finish one important task before entertainment." A measurable target forces honesty. You either did it or you did not. That may sound uncomfortable, but discomfort is better than fog. Fog lets you lie to yourself. Measurement tells the truth. And once the truth is visible, change becomes possible. Today, do not try to solve your whole life. Choose one target, write it in one sentence. Make it close enough to begin today. Make it important enough that ignoring it would cost you respect for yourself. Then let that target filter your next 30 days. Because life does not become lighter when you remove every responsibility. It becomes lighter when your responsibilities begin serving a direction. Your life feels heavy when you have no target, so give your effort somewhere to go. And in the next chapter, we will look at the quiet reason motivation dies. Not because you lack desire, but because your standards have been too easy to break. Chapter 03. Motivation dies. When your standards are too low, motivation does not disappear all at once. It fades quietly. It fades every time you say, "tomorrow," and tomorrow becomes another excuse. It fades when you hit snooze for the 4th time after promising yourself you would get up. It fades when you open your laptop after work, stare at the task, then reach for a show, a snack, or your phone instead. You may think the problem is that you do not feel motivated. But often, the deeper problem is this. Your standards have become too easy to break. A standard is not a wish. It is not a mood. It is not something you respect only when life feels convenient. A standard is a line. It tells you what you no longer negotiate with. Without standards, your life becomes uncontrolled by convenience. If you feel tired, you delay. If you feel uncomfortable, you avoid. If something feels boring, you escape. If the phone is close, you reach for it. If the work is difficult, you tell yourself there is still time. And every time you do that, you teach yourself something. You teach yourself that your word is flexible. You teach yourself that your future can wait. You teach yourself that comfort is allowed to interrupt your growth whenever it wants. That is why low standards destroy motivation. Not because one weak choice ruins your life, but because repeated weak choices change what you expect from yourself. At first, you feel guilty. Then you feel disappointed. Then you feel numb. Eventually, you stop being surprised when you do not follow through. That is the dangerous part. Not failure, getting used to failure. Not delay, getting comfortable with delay. Not weakness, accepting weakness as your normal setting. This is where many people lose respect for themselves without even noticing it. They do not lose it in one dramatic moment. They lose it through 100 private negotiations. I will skip today. I will start next week. This does not matter. I deserve a break. I am too tired. I will catch up later. Sometimes those statements are true. You do need rest. You do need flexibility. You are human. But if every uncomfortable moment becomes a reason to lower your standard, you are not resting. You are training retreat. A strong standard does not have to be extreme. It does not mean waking up at 4 in the morning, punishing your body, or living like you are at war with yourself. A strong standard means there are certain promises you protect even when your mood changes. It can be simple. No phone for the first 30 minutes of the morning. One important task before entertainment, 10 pages before bed, a 20-minute walk after work, no skipping 2 days in a row, one honest review of your day before sleep. Small standards matter because they create identity. They tell your mind, this is who we are now, and at first your mind will resist that. It will say the standard is too small to matter. It will say you can skip it today. It will say you should wait until you feel more motivated. Do not believe it. Small standards are how you rebuild authority over yourself. You are not trying to impress the world. You are trying to become believable to yourself again. There is power in being able to say, I do what I said I would do, not perfectly, but consistently enough that your own word begins to carry weight. That is where motivation starts to return. Because motivation grows in the presence of trust. When you trust yourself, action becomes easier. When you do not trust yourself, even small tasks feel heavy, because part of you already expects another broken promise. So raise one standard, only one. Choose a standard so clear that there is no room to debate it. For the next 7 days, what will you no longer negotiate? Will you stop checking your phone before your first real action? Will you stop ending the day without finishing one important task? Will you stop leaving your space in disorder? Will you stop spending money without tracking it? Will you stop going to bed without knowing what tomorrow's priority is? Pick one. Then protect it. Not because it will change everything in 1 week, because it will teach your mind that your word matters again. Hold on to this idea, because when we reach the chapter on discipline, you will see that discipline is not built from intensity. It is built from standards that survive your mood. For now, remember this. Motivation does not die because you are weak. It dies when your standards become too easy to break. So stop asking only, how do I feel? Ask, what standard am I protecting? Because feelings change, standards lead. And in the next chapter, we will face one of the most common traps that keeps people from protecting any standard at all, waiting until they feel ready. Chapter 04. Stop waiting to feel ready. You may be waiting for a version of yourself that never arrives, the version that wakes up excited, the version that never doubts, the version that feels confident before starting, the version that finally has enough time, enough energy, enough focus, enough certainty. But that version is not the beginning. That version is the result. Most people reverse the order of change. They think they need to feel ready before they act. They think confidence comes first. They think motivation comes first. They think the right mood will arrive and make discipline easier. But the right mood is not a strategy. It is a visitor. It comes and goes. If you build your life around waiting for it, you will keep delaying your own growth. This is why so many people stay in the same place for years. They are not refusing change completely. They are just waiting for the perfect emotional conditions. They wait until work slows down. They wait until they feel less stressed. They wait until the plan feels clearer. They wait until they have more confidence. They wait until Monday, then next Monday, then the first day of next month, then the new year. And slowly, waiting becomes a lifestyle, not a pause. A lifestyle. You do not need to feel ready to begin. You need to begin before your mind has time to negotiate. Readiness is often created by action. You become more confident after you show up. You become more focused after you start. You become more disciplined after you repeat. You become stronger after you meet resistance and do not immediately obey it. Action is not the reward for feeling ready. Action is how you become ready. This does not mean you should act recklessly. It does not mean you should ignore planning, timing, or responsibility. It means you must stop using preparation as a hiding place. There is a difference between preparing and postponing. Preparation makes the next step clearer. Postponing makes the next step easier to avoid. Be honest with yourself. Are you planning or are you delaying? Are you waiting for wisdom or are you waiting for comfort? Are you gathering information or are you avoiding the first uncomfortable move? The answer matters. Because the first move is usually not dramatic. It is small, it is 5 minutes. It is opening the document, putting on the shoes, writing the first sentence, cleaning the first corner, making the call, setting the alarm, turning the phone away, starting before you feel fully convinced. That is how you break the spell of waiting. Use the 5-minute rule. When your mind says, "I am not ready," do the smallest honest version for 5 minutes. Not the full workout. 5 minutes of movement, not the full project. 5 minutes of starting, not the perfect plan. 5 minutes of writing what you already know, not the entire life reset. 5 minutes of order. 5 minutes is powerful because it removes the drama. Your mind can argue with a huge goal. It can make excuses against a massive routine, but it has less power against 5 honest minutes. And once you begin, something changes. The task becomes real. The resistance becomes smaller. The next step becomes visible. You may still not feel motivated, but now you are moving. And movement creates information. You learn what is hard. You learn what is simple. You learn what needs to change. You learn that starting was not as impossible as your mind made it seem. This is why action must come before emotion. If you wait until you feel powerful, you may wait for years. But if you act while you still feel uncertain, power begins to grow from the inside. Do not worship readiness. Respect movement. Tonight, choose one thing you have been postponing because you were waiting to feel prepared. Then give it 5 minutes. Only 5. But make those 5 minutes honest. No pretending, no half focus. No checking your phone, no escaping after 30 seconds. Give the action your full attention. Let it prove something, not to the world, to you. You do not wait for motivation to act. You act long enough for motivation to have a reason to return. And in the next chapter, we will face the object that makes starting harder than ever. The device in your hand that has been training your mind to escape discomfort before it can become discipline. Chapter 05. Your phone is training you to avoid your life. Your phone is not just taking your time. It is training your response to discomfort. That is the real problem. You feel bored, you reach for it. You feel anxious, you reach for it. You feel lonely, you reach for it. You feel pressure, you reach for it. You face a difficult task, and before you even decide to quit, your hand is already moving toward the screen. Over time, your mind learns a dangerous lesson. Discomfort means escape. Silence means stimulation. Pressure means distraction. And the more often you repeat that pattern, the harder it becomes to sit with your own life without needing something to numb it. This is not about hating technology. Your phone is useful. It helps you work, communicate, navigate, learn, and stay connected. But a useful tool becomes dangerous when it becomes your automatic refuge from every uncomfortable feeling. That is when your attention stops belonging to you. And when your attention stops belonging to you, your future becomes harder to build. Because anything meaningful requires sustained attention. A skill requires it. A business requires it. A healthy body requires it. A strong relationship requires it. A peaceful mind requires it. You cannot build a serious life with a scattered mind. And modern distraction is designed to scatter you. Short videos, infinite scrolling, notifications, news, arguments, highlights of other people's lives. Content that gives you a quick emotional hit, then leaves you emptier than before. You tell yourself, it is only 5 minutes. But it is not only 5 minutes, it is the state of mind those 5 minutes create. Fragmented, reactive, restless, harder to focus, harder to be still. Harder to choose the difficult thing that would actually move your life forward. This is why controlling your phone is not a small issue. It is a leadership issue. Who leads your attention? You or the device? You or the algorithm? You or the discomfort you keep trying to avoid? If you only remember one part in the middle of this audiobook, remember this. Controlling your attention is the turning point between living by intention and being pulled through the day. Start with the first 30 minutes. When you wake up, do not give your mind away immediately. No scrolling, no messages, no feeds, no checking who needs what from you before you know what you need from yourself. Use the first 30 minutes to return to your own life. Drink water. Move your body. Write down your first priority. Let your mind become yours before the world enters it. Then create one protected block during the day. 30 minutes. Phone out of reach, notifications off, one task, one focus. One clean period where you prove that your attention can still obey you. At night, protect your final minutes too. Do not let the last thing you feed your mind be noise. Do not fall asleep inside other people's lives. End the day with something that brings you back to yourself. A page, a journal line, a plan for tomorrow, or simple silence. This is not about perfection. You will still use your phone. You will still check messages. You will still live in the modern world. But you must stop letting the modern world train you to run from yourself. Your attention is not cheap. Stop spending it like it is. What you look at every day shapes what you think about. What you think about shapes what you choose. What you choose shapes what your life becomes. So take back one piece of attention today. Not all of it. One piece, the first 30 minutes. One focused work block. One phone-free evening routine. Choose one. Protect it. Because the person who controls your attention controls the direction of your life. And when you reclaim attention, the next step is not hype or emotion. It is structure. That structure is discipline. Chapter 06. Discipline is the cure for a foggy life. Discipline is misunderstood. Many people hear the word and think of punishment. They imagine harsh routines, cold pressure, extreme rules, and a life with no freedom. But real discipline is not there to punish you. It is there to reduce confusion. Discipline is structure. It is the system that protects your life when your mood is unstable. It is what carries you when motivation is quiet. It is what keeps you from having to remake the same decision every day. Without discipline, everything becomes a negotiation. Should I wake up now? Should I work on the task? Should I exercise? Should I spend this money? Should I check my phone? Should I start today or tomorrow? A life with no structure forces your mind to debate every small action. That constant negotiation is exhausting. It gives weakness too many chances to speak. Discipline removes some of the debate. You do not ask whether you feel like brushing your teeth. You do it because it is part of the structure. Do not negotiate with it every morning. You have repeated it enough that the action no longer needs emotional permission. That is the goal, not to become robotic. To make the right things easier to repeat, discipline turns important actions into defaults. You wake at the same time. You keep your space clean. You write down your priorities. You protect one block of focus. You move your body. You finish one task before entertainment. None of these actions need to be dramatic. They need to be repeatable. That is where many people fail. They try to build discipline through intensity. They create a routine so heavy that it only works on their best days. Then life gets busy, stress returns, sleep gets worse, and the entire system collapses. Discipline that only works when life is easy is not discipline, it is excitement. Real discipline must be simple enough to survive a difficult day, so build your structure small. Choose a wake-up time you can respect. Choose a workspace you can keep clean. Choose one task that must be finished before you reward yourself. Choose one evening reset that prepares tomorrow. Create fewer decisions. Create cleaner rules. Create a day that does not depend on your mood being perfect. This is how discipline frees you. It frees you from starting over every morning. It frees you from arguing with yourself. It frees you from living at the mercy of emotion. It frees you from the endless question, what should I do now? Because the structure already answered. And this is important. Discipline is not built to make your life smaller. It is built to make your life stronger. A disciplined person still rests. A disciplined person still enjoys life. A disciplined person still has bad days. The difference is that a disciplined person does not let every bad day become a broken identity. They return to structure. They return to the next right action. They return before the drift becomes a lifestyle. Today, do not build a perfect routine. Build a return point. A return point is one action you come back to when the day starts falling apart. It may be writing your priorities. It may be cleaning your desk. It may be walking for 20 minutes. It may be finishing one task. It may be turning off the phone and sitting in silence for 5 minutes. Choose something simple, something you can do even when the day has not gone well. Because discipline is not proven on the perfect day. It is proven on the messy one. The day you are tired. The day you are irritated. The day you already failed once. The day your mind says, forget it. That is the day structure matters. Discipline does not lock you up. It releases you from being ruled by every mood that passes through you. It gives your life a spine, and once you have structure, you will meet the next truth. Every meaningful life requires discomfort. The only question is which kind of discomfort you will choose. Chapter 07. Choose pain with a purpose. There is no life without discomfort. That is the truth many people try to avoid. They want growth without resistance, confidence without risk, health without effort, peace without boundaries, success without sacrifice, discipline without difficult days. But life does not work that way. You will face pain either way. The pain of action or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline or the pain of disappointment. The pain of telling the truth or the pain of living inside a lie. The pain of starting or the pain of watching more time disappear. You do not get to avoid all discomfort. You only get to choose which discomfort shapes you. That choice matters, because not all pain is equal. Some pain weakens you. Some pain builds you. The pain of procrastination weakens you because it repeats the same guilt without producing change. The pain of avoidance weakens you because it teaches you to fear your own life. The pain of low standards weakens you because it makes you expect less from yourself. But the pain of discipline is different. It has direction. The workout is hard, but it gives strength. The honest conversation is uncomfortable, but it creates freedom. The early morning is not easy, but it restores control. The focused hour may feel boring, but it builds a future. The budget may feel restrictive, but it returns power to your money. Purpose changes pain. Without purpose, pain feels like punishment. With purpose, pain becomes training. This is where you must become honest with yourself. What kind of discomfort have you been choosing? Have you been choosing the discomfort of effort or the discomfort of regret? Have you been choosing the discomfort of focus or the discomfort of wasted time? Have you been choosing the discomfort of self-control or the discomfort of starting over again and again? Every choice has a cost. Comfort has a cost too. That is the part people forget. Sleeping in has a cost. Scrolling for hours has a cost. Avoiding the task has a cost. Saying yes when you mean no has a cost. Pretending not to care has a cost. You may not pay immediately, but the bill arrives later as stress, disappointment, lost time, weak confidence, and a quiet resentment toward your own choices. So stop asking for a painless path. Ask for a path where the pain produces something. Choose the kind of hard that gives back. A hard workout gives back. A hard conversation gives back. A hard hour of focus gives back. A hard decision to walk away from distraction gives back. A hard promise kept in private gives back. Regret takes. Discipline gives. That is the difference. This does not mean you should chase suffering or make life harder than it needs to be. Pain by itself is not noble. Struggle without purpose is just struggle. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to stop fearing every uncomfortable step that leads to your growth. When discomfort appears, do not immediately run. Ask what it is building. If it is building strength, stay. If it is building honesty, stay. If it is building focus, stay. If it is building self-respect, stay. But if it is only repeating shame, avoidance, and regret. Choose differently. You are allowed to choose a better pain. Today, choose one discomfort with a purpose. Do the thing you have been avoiding. Move your body when you would rather stay still. Turn off the phone when your mind wants escape. Tell the truth where silence has been costing you peace. Finish the task before you reward yourself. Not because it is easy, because it builds you. And this will matter at the end. When the whole journey becomes one small promise you must keep for 72 hours. For now, remember, if you must face difficulty either way, choose the difficulty that builds your future. Choose the pain that gives back, and the simplest place to start choosing better is not your entire life. It is your next morning. Chapter 08. Build one clear morning. Do not try to change your whole life overnight. Win one morning. That is enough to begin. A clear morning does not solve every problem. It does not erase your past. It does not magically remove stress, bills, responsibilities, or uncertainty. But it does something important. It proves that the day does not have to begin in chaos. Most people lose the day before they choose it. They wake up and immediately enter noise, messages, notifications, news, deadlines, other people's needs, other people's opinions. Before they have taken one honest breath, their attention is already divided. Then they wonder why the day feels scattered. A scattered morning creates a scattered mind. And a scattered mind has a harder time making strong decisions. So build one clear morning, not a perfect routine, a clear one. Start before the world gets access to you. For the first 30 minutes, do not touch the phone. Let your mind wake up inside your own life. Drink water, make your bed, move your body for a few minutes. Open a notebook, write 3 lines. First, what matters today? Second, what must I avoid today? Third, who am I becoming through my choices today? That is it. Simple, but not weak. Those 3 lines create leadership. They force your mind to choose before the day starts pulling. They remind you that your attention has a job. They turn the morning from a reaction into a decision. Then choose one important action. Only one. The action that, if completed, would make the day feel respected. Not 10 tasks. 1. Send the email. Walk for 20 minutes. Study for 30 minutes. Clean the space. Finish the draft. Make the call. Prepare the meal. Work on the skill. Choose the action before the day chooses distraction for you. This is how a clear morning works. It gives the day a spine. It does not require perfection. If you wake up late, return to the structure. If you miss one step, do the next one. If the morning is messy, still choose the first honest action. Do not turn one imperfect morning into permission to lose the whole day. That is an old pattern. The new pattern is return. Return to water. Return to movement. Return to 3 lines. Return to one important action. That is how you train control. Not by never failing, by returning faster. A clear morning also changes how you see yourself. When you begin the day with intention, you stop feeling like life is only happening to you. You may still face pressure, but you face it from a stronger position. You have already kept one small promise. You have already chosen one direction. You have already taken back the first part of your attention. That matters, because the first hour sets a tone. If the first hour belongs to noise, the day begins in reaction. If the first hour belongs to you, the day begins with authority. You do not need a complicated morning routine. You need a repeatable one. No phone, water, movement, 3 written lines, 1 important action. Try it for 7 days. Do not judge it after 1 morning. Do not redesign it after 2. Do not quit because it feels too simple. Simple is the point. A routine that looks impressive but cannot be repeated is useless. A simple morning that you can actually keep becomes a foundation. Win the first hour and you stop losing the day by accident. And when you begin keeping promises in the quiet parts of your day, something deeper begins to return. Not hype, not excitement, self-respect. That is where we go next. Chapter 09. Become someone you can respect again. You do not only want motivation. You want to trust yourself again. That is the deeper desire. You want to believe your own word. You want to know that when you say you will do something, it means something. You want to feel proud of how you act when nobody is watching. Because success without self-respect still feels empty. You can look productive and still feel disappointed in yourself. You can be praised by others and still know you are not keeping the promises that matter in private. You can appear confident and still carry the quiet weight of knowing you keep abandoning your own standards. That is why self-respect matters. It is not built from pretending. It is not built from positive phrases alone. It is built from evidence. You say you will wake up, and you wake up. You say you will finish the task, and you finish it. You say you will stop giving your attention away, and you protect it. You say you will walk, write, save, study, clean, train, or focus, and then you do it. That is evidence. Small, private, honest evidence. And evidence changes identity. Every time you keep a promise, you become a little more believable to yourself. Every time you follow through, you weaken the old story that says you always quit. Every time you choose the standard over the excuse, you create proof that you are not trapped in who you used to be. This is why small promises matter. The world may not notice them, but you do. Your nervous system notices, your confidence notices, your future notices. A person who respects themselves does not need to feel perfect. They do not need applause. They do not need constant validation. They have something stronger. They have private alignment. What they say and what they do begin to match. That match creates peace. Not easy peace, earned peace. The kind of peace that comes when you know you are no longer lying to yourself about what matters. If you have lost respect for yourself, do not panic. You can rebuild it. But you do not rebuild it by making a giant promise after another emotional moment. You rebuild it by keeping small promises long enough for your mind to believe you again. Start with something you can prove today, not tomorrow. Today, choose one promise that is small enough to keep but meaningful enough to matter. I will finish this task before I sleep. I will walk for 20 minutes. I will write the truth for 10 minutes. I will clean this space. I will prepare tomorrow before I go to bed. I will not open social media until my first priority is done. Then keep it, even if you do not feel like it. Especially if you do not feel like it. Because the promise is not only about the action. It is about the relationship you are rebuilding with yourself. Every broken promise teaches one lesson. Every kept promise teaches another. Broken promises say, my word is not safe. Kept promises say, I can count on me. That is the foundation of self-respect, not perfection, reliability. You do not need to become someone's extraordinary in one day. You need to become someone reliable in one area, then another, then another. That is how a life changes without noise, quietly, privately, steadily. And when self-respect returns, motivation becomes less desperate. You no longer need to hype yourself up every morning just to do what matters. You act because you are becoming the kind of person who follows through. Hold this idea as we enter the final chapter, because the entire journey will now become one simple question. What promise are you willing to keep? Not for a year, not forever. For the next 72 hours, because understanding is not enough. You need proof, and proof begins with one kept promise. Chapter 10. Don't go back to drifting. Now comes the part that matters most. Not what you understood, what you do next. Because an audiobook cannot change your life if you only listen. Nod, feel something for a moment, and then return to the same pattern. Insight is not transformation. Emotion is not transformation. A good message is not transformation. Transformation begins when your next action proves that something has changed. So do not let this become another thing you heard. Let it become something you obey. You have seen the pattern now. You are not lazy when you still care. You need clarity. Your life feels heavy when your effort has nowhere meaningful to land. Motivation fades when your standards become too easy to break. Waiting to feel ready keeps you trapped. Distraction trains you to avoid discomfort. Discipline gives your life structure. Purpose changes pain. A clear morning creates a stronger start. Self-respect is built by evidence. Now the question is simple. What will you do with that? Do not answer with a big speech. Do not answer with a fantasy. Do not answer with a promise so large that it collapses by tomorrow. Answer with one action. Close the noise after this. Open your notes. Write 3 lines. What stops today? What starts today? What promise survives the next 72 hours? That is the real decision. First, what will you stop? What is one thing that keeps pulling you back into the old version of yourself? Maybe it is checking your phone before your mind is awake. Maybe it is ending the day without finishing anything meaningful. Maybe it is spending money without awareness. Maybe it is saying yes when you know you should protect your energy. Maybe it is using entertainment to avoid a decision. Name it. Second, what will you start? Not 10 things. 1. A walk, a clean morning, a spending record, a focused 30-minute block, a nightly plan, a phone-free first hour, a task finished before entertainment. Choose something you can see, something you can measure, something you can do even if the day is not perfect. Third, what promise will you keep for the next 72 hours? This matters, because 72 hours is short enough to begin, but long enough to reveal your pattern. In 72 hours, you will meet resistance. You will meet excuses. You will meet an old mood. You will meet the voice that says, "This is too small to matter." That is the moment. That is where the old version of you usually returns. But this time you do something different. You keep the promise, not because it is easy, because it is yours. Do not underestimate what one kept promise can do. One kept promise becomes proof. Proof becomes trust. Trust becomes self-respect. Self-respect becomes discipline. Discipline becomes direction. And direction changes the weight of your life. This is how you stop drifting, not by changing everything at once, by refusing to return unchanged. So when this chapter ends, do not immediately run back to noise. Do not drown the message in another video, another scroll, another distraction. Pause. Write the promise. Make it clear. Make it small. Make it real. Then begin. Because if this book found you, and something in you stayed until this moment, maybe it was not an accident. Maybe some part of you was ready to stop negotiating with the life that has been making you smaller. Do not go back to drifting. Do not make this another emotional moment with no evidence behind it. Do not let the old pattern speak louder than the decision you are making now. This is where you prove it. Stop one thing, start one thing, keep one promise. For 72 hours, that is enough to begin. The 72-hour proof. This is your 72-hour proof. Not a challenge for attention, not a performance for other people. A private test between you and the version of yourself that says you are ready to stop drifting. For the next 72 hours, do 3 things. On day 1, write one clear target for the next 30 days, one sentence. Not vague, not dramatic, not designed to impress anyone. Clear. Something your behavior can measure. On day 2, remove one major source of distraction. Not every distraction. One, the one that steals the most attention, weakens your focus, or keeps pulling you back into automatic living. Turn off the notifications. Move the app. Leave the phone outside the bedroom. Block the site. Set the boundary. Make distraction less convenient. On day 3, keep one promise when nobody is watching. That is the real test. Not the promise you announce, the promise you keep. Walk, write clean, say focus, finish. Prepare. Choose one action that proves you are no longer waiting to feel ready. These 3 days will not fix your entire life, but they can mark a beginning. They can show you that clarity is possible, that discipline can start small, that your attention can return to you. That self-respect is not gone forever. It is waiting for evidence. You do not need to become perfect. You need to become honest. Honest about what has been weakening you. Honest about what you keep avoiding. Honest about the standards you have allowed to break too easily. Honest about the future you still have the power to build. If this audiobook spoke to you, save it and return to it when you feel yourself drifting. Share it with someone who has been living on autopilot but still wants to change. And subscribe to Inner Power Audio for more audiobooks built around clarity, discipline, emotional control, and inner strength. But before you leave, do not just feel inspired. Decide, write the target, remove the distraction, keep the promise. Because if this book found you, do not skip it. But more importantly, do not skip the life you still have the power to build.